By the way, shooters and reloaders out there, please don't be offended when you see dry firing in this video like this. I've done a little bit of dry firing off and on for over 40 years and none of my guns have ever been damaged by doing any dry firing, as long as we don't spend all day doing this. And the topic of this video is double action shooting. Now this happens to be a double action revolver, model 66 Taurus. Now you'll see a lot of people buy double action revolvers of all kinds, and they go to the range and they spend 95% of their time shooting like this. This is called single action shooting. Well, if you're going to do that, you might as well just go ahead and buy a single action revolver, because it just does the same thing. Single action. But the beauty of the double action revolver is that you can shoot double action. And what double action is pulling the trigger without thumbing the hammer back first. And the trigger does everything. Draws the hammer back, advances the cylinder, all that kind of thing. That is double action shooting. Well, it just happens to be that there's two ways to do double action shooting. Well, you'll see a lot of shooters tell you that since you like to shoot single action like this, that the correct way to shoot double action would be to take your finger and draw the hammer back until it stages like that. And then you can go ahead and squeeze, 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 just like a single action trigger. So again, you stage the hammer and then squeeze. Stage the hammer and squeeze, just like single action. Well, the other way to shoot a double action revolver is what we call the straight through pull. And that's where you go like this, and you just go ahead and pull the trigger straight through like this. So what's the best way to shoot a double action revolver? Now you've got to try both systems for yourself. The advantage of doing the staging and then the slow trigger pull, once again stage and then go ahead and squeeze, 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 it's like shooting what you're used to, the single action pull. The only problem with this is that as you get to this point here, you almost know that the hammer is going to drop fairly soon. So as you're squeezing, there's always a chance of anticipating the shot and making it go off like this. And you've got a bad shot. So there you go, you stage it, and you know you've got the stage so that the hammer fall is going to be following pretty quickly. And so you're almost guessing where the release point is. Well, that's anticipating the shot. The advantage of the straight through pull is that as you're pulling, you just keep pulling that trigger back. You really don't know where the trigger is going to break. So what that means is you get a surprise break every shot. And then all you got to do is concentrate on keeping the sights lined up and then isolating the finger movement from any other movement of your wrist or hand. That's kind of like belly dancing. You're going to isolate this trigger finger movement from anything else. So no matter how fast you pull, the gun's not really moving because you are isolating this movement from anything else. So you see how you can do accurate fire very quickly, double action. So the straight through pull is actually the best way to shoot a double action revolver. Now what happens is we can do all of our shooting, whether it's two-handed, whether it's going ahead and shooting at targets. Once again, keep the sights aligned, isolate the trigger movement, and squeeze the shots off like that. Very effective shooting targets or anything. because you got a surprise break every shot, rather than trying to stage the trigger and guessing where it is and then squeezing, there it is. If you have a lot of time, you might shoot that way, but the double action revolver was designed for fast, instantaneous shooting, and for that your straight through pull is superior. Incidentally, for those of you who think that dry firing is bad for a revolver and you won't do it, well, I wouldn't dry fire someone else's gun, but I've never had any problems dry firing my own. So shooters and reloaders out there, take care. See you in the next video. Bye for now.